good afternoon, good day, whatever, wherever you are. Sorry, I came late, even though as it stands, right, there's no one even online, and I understand. I didn't even know I was watching a program, and I didn't realize that time has gone. Okay, as you can see, the topic of my live stream is low self-esteem and fear of loneliness. Then slash friendships, pride, and love. Like, everyone has different experiences. I have different experience, you have different experience, next guy has different experience, next guy have different experiences. But the thing is that there are certain things that we find ourselves in, and we mistake it for friendships. I'm speaking out of experience. At least I'm in my 30s, late 30s to be specific. And I wouldn't say I've seen it all, or at least I've seen a lot. Seen a lot. When I was a teenager, I don't wish to go back being a teenager, but I miss the fact that my teenage years were so pure. Like, you look forward to seeing your friends, and your friends also look forward to seeing you. There's no, let's say, there's no resentment, even if there are underlying issues, which as a teenager the underlying issues were not that serious, to be honest, even though sometimes those same underlying issues are what grows into adulthood. But at that point everything is just pure. Then coming on to your 20s, it's a whole lot of different. It's also, there's also that beautiful, that goodness of relationships. You're hardly lonely. In fact, I think in my 20s was even the most time I had most friends. I remember back then my mom would keep cautioning me that too many friends are bad, that you will not know which one is going to harm you, and too many friends can lead to depression. And then when she says those things, I'm like, what do you mean by that? And then coming down to my 30s, that is when reality sets in. Reality check. Now at that moment your options are really smaller, because looking at an average male or female in Africa, it's a lot of expectations the moment you approach your 30s, because most likely you're done with school, because your school years are from your teenage years to your 20s. Most cases, or most times, people hardly really transition to their 30s and they're being in high school, except maybe doing masters or anything. But I'm just trying to say, like, those most educative years for most people, majority if I'm not mistaken, is 20s, and by your 30s most of the time you're done with school. I'm just giving reference to the environment where I grew up. I don't know about the environment where you are. Now by your 30s most likely you're done with school. There are a lot of expectations, especially when you're from homes that are not so financially buoyant. Everybody hopes that you get a job, and then that transitions into relationships, friendships around us, in the sense that at that moment there's going to be one sudden comparison. Oh boy, this one don't make calm, this one never make calm. You know, that kind of comparison where, who is she married? Okay, let me speak of the female part in Africa. At that point, is she married? Because I remember I was speaking when I was in my 20s, like early 20s. So I had a friend I went to visit. The friend was actually a male, so I went to visit him in his house. I think me and him those days we were running one computer program like that. So being the fact that he's really good at it, so I went to visit him so he can help me with something. So I met his elder sister, so we just got talking, like, you know, all those big sis that are just very free. So we just got talking, and she was like saying that in the past she used to be very scared of attaining the age 30, because at that moment it's almost like when you're 30 and you're not married, it's like, man, you don't read for you, like, you know, that kind of African kind of. Yeah, but she was like, at that moment when we were talking, she told me she was already 33, a bit 34 there, but I was just like, she doesn't even feel any much difference. She was like, if it comes, that's the marriage. And at that moment she was working, and she was really doing well financially. Like, she was financially buoyant to almost, this is a big girl, you know, that kind of thing. She was really financially buoyant, and she was like, well, at this point when the marriage comes, fine. If it doesn't come, she focuses on what she has ahead of her. So we are in a society where, honestly speaking, it's easy for you to fall into low self-esteem. It's easy for you to find yourself in a low self-esteem situation because of what the society kind of demands from you. Now, aside from society, again, it depends on the kind of people that you yourself you got yourself into, because there are certain times that we talk and we claim that we're strong, we're this, we're that, but at the end of the day, we're still human. We have a breaking point. We have a point where we want to disconnect from everything. Some people will tell you that it's normal, especially people that have gone through that phase in life. They will tell you it's very normal and we eventually get over it. But at that moment, you now want to ask yourself, why this low self-esteem? And unfortunately, we can find ourselves in groups or friendships where um, the people you're with are the ones that provoke that low self-esteem. This is what I mean, the people you're with provoke that low self-esteem. You might have people around you, maybe your friends, because this is, you've gotten to a point where you don't even know who your friends are, or your foes, or your frenemies. Honestly, relationships are very difficult. Like, now that I'm in my 30s, honestly, relationship has never been more difficult in my life, like right now. Number one, you don't even have much friends to start with. Number two, you have friends that tend to tender their insecurities towards your direction and try to define you as such. Yes, there are some friends that will wake up, probably they have their own insecurities they are battling with, but in order to make themselves feel good, they try to push it towards your direction and make it look as if it's you that has the problem. Meanwhile, you're not the one who has the problem. I see a lot of videos on YouTube, on TikTok, online in general, and you just see some people, they have this confidence that they come with. But behind the scene, especially like mostly, let's say, celebrities and even maybe some non-celebrities that, thanks to social media, you literally can even know what is happening in someone's city, even if you don't know them. Like this morning, I was listening to a news on this local channel here, and there was a case. I'm not too sure. I don't want to call names of places that I wasn't too sure, but in passing, where you're just hearing your neighbor playing their radio, and you were here, and in passing, I heard where that a husband and wife had a serious issue where the husband even like punched the wife and she died. And what caused that problem? Remote control of television. They were struggling to pick up remote control. So you see what social media can do. It compressed a lot of things. It made the world very small. So that is the part where I'm talking about where you find yourself in the wrong cycle, or when you see people that you see them with so much confidence, they exude a lot of confidence, but behind the scene you now realize that there's nothing close to confidence. There is nothing close to confidence. Everything they miss, you see men, women looking so comfortable with life, but deep down they are depressed. You hear some people committing suicide, some people getting into serious mental discomfort or disorder. Excuse me. And you wonder, this person you're looking up to like a role model and all that, but at the end of the day, they are not, so at the end of the day, at the back of the scene, it still depends on the kind of crowd or the kind of company they exhume themselves with or they surround themselves with. And honestly speaking, in some cases, being alone is not a bad thing. But it's so unfortunate that sometimes when you're alone, like I remember when growing up, my grandma will ask me about my friends. Maybe if I'm indoors that day and I'm just trying to play alone, or just something kept me indoors, she'll be like, why don't I go out and play with my friends? When I'm like, no, I want to be alone, she'll be like, why do you want to be alone? Are you rich? That kind of thing, that kind of mindset of you always need to have people around you, but which is not true. It's okay to be alone. It's okay to enjoy your company, like your alone time company. Like, to me, there are times that it seems like loneliness sometimes, but as I grow older, like I said, now I'm in my late 30s, as I've grown older, to be honest with you, I appreciate being alone, even though sometimes when I get to be alone too much, it gets to me, and I try to put myself sometimes in company that it favors me, sometimes it doesn't favor me sometimes. So basically, another aspect of life that I would love to speak about is pride and love. Do you know that some people put themselves in certain company not for anything, it's just pride, like okay, I want to belong to this group. But then putting yourself in the wrong space can also get you zero love, can also get you into trouble. And then there are cases again that the people you least expect care about you, might care about you. There are times that when I see some set of people around me that have so many friends, I don't know if I should envy them or I should not envy them. But then when you look closely, I remember there was a time I had some group of friends like that. I don't know how I lost that group of friends. I think we started the friendship from a farmer's market I was attending. So when I got into their main group themselves, like I wasn't really part of the group. I was so impressed, like there was so much love among them. But then that doesn't mean that I would have to fit into that space. That doesn't mean that I will have to fit into that friendship, because I might go in there, instantly I'll meet people there that are already prideful. Instantly there I'll meet people that will even make me feel worse than I'm already feeling before getting into that group. But basically what I'm trying to say is that friendship should not come with pride, genuine friendship, because I wouldn't advise you to go into a friendship where someone is rubbishing you, someone is ridiculing you. And there's one very important thing again: I hate friends that make me walk on eggshells around them. Like those friends, loneliness is far better than having those kind of friends. Those kind of friends are filled with pride. They don't even give you any love. Even if they give you love, the love is usually transactional. They are offering that love because there's something they want in return, or there's something they're expecting in return. So honestly speaking, it's a 50-50 thing. Yeah, the reason why I call it a 50-50 thing is the fact that friendship is a beautiful thing. Don't get it twisted. But you have to think, or you have to be able to be sensitive. But then sometimes you still need to be careless, honestly, because I think so much sensitivity might have cost me some relationships. Okay, let me give you a quick gist here, story. Like there's this lady that I had a little bit of. She's not my friend though, but I'll call her an acquaintance, but we a very good acquaintance. Now we had a little issue with her, and then she came back to me after some few weeks asking for help. So to be honest with you, I felt scared. I was like, who is this person? Is she trying to hurt me? Is she trying to get at me? Now it's two ways. She might really genuinely need my help, but on the other hand, she might not genuinely need my help. She might want to hurt me, because people are very, very vindictive. People are very vindictive, and that's where pride comes into play. Because I feel that when you meet those kind of people, what they might have gotten themselves involved in is it's not healthy. You understand? Because I used to be very vindictive too. I'm not like you. I used to feel that whatever someone does to me, I'll have to pay back. But over time, I now realize that it's not worth it. Honestly speaking, there are so many layers to life. There are so many things that you just free your mind, and you would get to that point where you would work on your low self-esteem if you have any. You work on friendships, because I have relatives. I know people around me that are still making friends, even in their 60s, even in their 70s. Like, so for me, age, growing older doesn't mean that you can't have friends, or growing older means automatically you become lonely. And I've seen friendships where there's pride, of course, because you can't be in a cycle where you turn yourself into an errand boy and errand girl. There has to be that pride, but then there has to also be love. Do you understand? I don't know if coming here, but basically this is just like a rant video. I just have a lot of things on my mind, but I don't even know if I'm saying them well. But basically, as a human being, it's okay to feel lonely once in a while. That low self-esteem sets in. We can always work on it. We can always reach out to good friendship. Like I have friends that some of them I've never met them physically, just phone, online. And honestly speaking, I think I care about them. Yes, at least when I don't see them online, I kind of like try to check up on them. And pride is part of human beings, even though there is a popular saying that pride goes before you fall. But I just see that in every relationship, you need to keep your own identity. Yes. And that identity comes with your pride. There is healthy pride, there is unhealthy pride. Do you understand? Because when you indulge in an unhealthy pride, you might even end up with that low self-esteem that I was talking about earlier. But there's an amount of respect you can keep to yourself. You won't be in a group of friends where they keep talking down on you, where they keep insulting you, where they keep belittling you. That is going to affect your esteem. Honestly, that generates that low self-esteem we're talking about. That also brings about loneliness, and in fact some people is that bad that they can even begin to have suicidal thoughts, like this person said this to me and this person is my friend. And you know, some people love with all of their hearts, like I do. I think I used to do, maybe now not anymore. I love with the whole of my heart. Like, is that serious to me? When I care about you. In fact, my husband one time was even teasing me if some of these my friends, they hypnotize me, that he does not understand the level of love I offer to these my so-called friends. But then there's nothing wrong with you showing someone that you love them, but sometimes you don't know what is on that other person's mind. You don't know if that person is out there to just use you, and that's why I said you have to be alert. Your pride button has to be on, and sometimes, especially when you're not. But then at the end of the day, I just feel that when you get to a point where you know that this person is your friend and they also know that they are your friend, I think at that moment there's no need for pride again. All that needs to be available should be love. And like I said earlier, I think the older we get, maybe let me speak for myself, the low self-esteem thing kind of diminishes, because at that moment there are certain things that before had so much value or had so much relevance. As you grow older, they are no longer that relevant. Love is a very powerful gift we can give to each other, because trust me, if we have good amount of love, we won't come out and keep chastising each other or keep insulting each other. Like, even the Holy Book says it, love is the greatest gift of all. When there is love, honestly speaking, all these other things will diminish. And then, thank you so much for watching this. If you're watching a replay of this, I really appreciate. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my little baby channel. And I just hope I was able to just rant. I just hope I was able to just talk. You know, there are times that this could also be a therapy for most of us who might be going through one thing or the other, and this is an escape route for us. Like, I won't use the word escape route per se, but it's also another therapy that benefits even we, the content creator. So mind you, I'm also battling with the fact that I don't have friends. Sometimes I get really, really lonely. I battle with low self-esteem too, and my pride level, sometimes I don't know whether to keep it high or low. And guess what? I love with all of my heart as well. So it's just out there, it's everywhere. Just drop your comments in the comment section, and hope to see you in another video.